बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम।
अल्लाहु अकबर, अल्लाहु अकबर, अल्लाहु अकबर, अल्लाहु अकबर। अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदर रसूलुल्लाह, अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदर रसूलुल्लाह। हय्य अलस्सलाह, हय्य अलस्सलाह, हय्य अलफलाह, हय्य अलफलाह। अल्लाहु अकबर, अल्लाहु अकबर, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह।
अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह वहदहु ला शरीका लहु व अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदन अब्दुहु व रसूल। अम्मा बअदु, अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। The first verse that I want to recite to you is from chapter 21, verse 73. وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِمْ فِعْلَ الْخَيْرَاتِ وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة وكانوا لنا عابدين. And we made them leaders who guided people by our command. And we revealed to them the doing of good and keeping up of prayer and the giving of charity. And us alone they served. The next is chapter 28, verse 5. وَنُرِيدُ أَن نَّمُنَّ عَلَى الَّذِينَ يستضعفوا في الأرض ونجعلهم أئمة ونجعلهم الوارثين. And we desire to bestow favor, and we desire to bestow a favor upon those who were deemed weak in the land, and to make them leaders, and to make them the heirs. And the next one is a part of verse 13, chapter 39, verse 9. قُلْ هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ إِنَّمَا يَتَذَكَّرُ أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ. Say, are those who know and those who know not alike only men of understanding mind? Sadaqallahul Aliyyul Azim. I have recited these verses with the topic that we have in mind, and this is the first khutbah in that series. I hope there will be one or two more. These verses, and there are others, they sum up the qualities that a leader should have. But these qualities are grouped, because you could be a leader in the political sphere or the social sphere or judicial sphere and so on, but also learning, sciences, for example. I'll give you one example. Einstein was a leader in physics at his time, but he wasn't a leader in the sense that Chamberlain or Churchill or Mussolini and all these people were leaders. He was a leader in his particular field. And the Holy Quran gives instructions to all those leaders about how they should behave. And another interesting thing is that every nation claims to be the chosen ones. And of course, they're correct. Because at the time that a prophet appears among them, Allah has chosen them to receive Allah's guidance and arrange their lives according to that guidance and Allah's messages. Whoever they were whether they were Hindus or whether they were Jews or whether they were Christians, at the time that a prophet of Allah appeared among them, they were the chosen people. But of course, once they forsake that message, for whatever reason, then they fall from grace in Allah's eyes. And 2173 tells us that prophets lead by Allah's command, and by implication, all the leaders in all the categories that I've mentioned, politics, social, science, etc., they succeed if they follow Allah's command. And if they don't, they bring destruction upon their people, and nowadays, perhaps upon the whole earth. It was leaders of science who discovered splitting of the atom. Now, you can use that concept for many things. You can use it to treat cancer. You can use it to blow up Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And because these people weren't guided by Allah's command, invariably they have used their knowledge to the detriment of humanity, much less for the benefit of humanity. These days, you will find, take any category from the ones that I've mentioned, and you will find that Muslims are not exactly great leaders, to put it mildly, even of their own people. Let's forget about humanity, even of their own people, they're not great leaders. It therefore follows, what have they done? That their leaders and Muslim nations are not following Allah's commands. Because to be great, they have to lead by Allah's commands. As the first verse that I recited, 2173, and we made them leaders. These were prophets. And then this is preceded by examples of many, many prophets who came and who led people to great success. All Muslim countries, if you look at learning, because one of the verses that I recited asked a rhetorical question, say, are those who know and those who don't know alike? Only those who have understanding are the people who are mindful. Now, just one example in learning and knowledge. All the Muslim countries, all the countries in which Muslims are in a majority, combined together, do not have enough universities, or have fewer universities than one state in United States of America. This is from Morocco all the way east to Indonesia, and from Turkey all the way down to North Africa. That's the area in which Muslims are in a majority. And they have fewer research facilities and institutions than one state in America. And the biggest state in America, I guess, is the size of Pakistan. So, with that lack of learning, how are you going to make the right decisions? You can debate issues of politics and social matters and economic matters and justice, etc., etc. But just taking one of these categories, science and technology, just one, makes it clear that Muslims, according to that verse of the Holy Quran, are the ignorant ones. And non-Muslim nations are the learned ones, are in ascendance. Let's ask another question. Put that aside, let's ask another question. You can come up with many explanations about being ruled by imperial powers like France and Germany and Britain and all this kind of thing. But let's ask another question. Have Muslims invented anything in the last 600 years? In madrasas, philosophy and logic I don't know about now, but that was taught until a few years ago, was the same as philosophy and logic taught to Aristotle and Plato. 5,000 years old. How are you going to make progress? How are you going to compete with nations in the world when men are landing on the moon and your teaching syllabus is 5,000 years old? And that's why we don't invent anything. We wait for the West to invent something, and then we copy it, and what do we claim? Look, it's mentioned in the Holy Quran 1,500 years ago. Well, that being the case, surely you're the ones who should have come up with that theory and not waited for some scientist in California or Berlin or Cambridge or somewhere to publish his theory and then start claiming it's in the Holy Quran. If it's in the Holy Quran and you read it every day and you finish the whole of the Holy Quran during the month of Ramadan and you've been doing it for 1,500 years, why didn't you see it? Doesn't that question need asking? Why didn't you see it? For 1,500 years, you've been reciting the Holy Quran, at least the whole of it during Ramadan, if not on a daily basis, but you couldn't come up with that theory. And a person who's never heard of the Holy Quran, he comes up with it and you start claiming that it's yours and it's already mentioned. And if it's some technological device, then what you do is, regardless of the moral issues, you start copying it and manufacturing it and making it and selling it. Not just using it, but selling it. Isn't this sad? Muslims, when they came out of Arabia, what is now Saudi Arabia, they charted the stars. If you look at the names given to many astronomical objects, you find they're either Arabic or distorted English versions of Arabic. For hundreds of years, the most authentic maps used in the world were those made by Arabs. Europeans used them. Where has that knowledge gone? Why have we stopped doing it? Because we've stopped doing research and we just depend on others to tell us. We don't read the Holy Quran. We go to Maulvi Sahib and we ask his opinion of what is it about whatever the matter is. Why don't we do research? I'm not saying that he would deliberately, the person you ask would deliberately give the wrong reply, but it's only one man's opinion. It may be wrong. What reason do you have to accept it and believe it? But no, we keep on doing it. And it is because we say, generally when we talk about forsaking the Holy Quran, we sort of use material examples. But this too is a violation of the Holy Quran. The greatest ability that was given to humanity was to gain knowledge. And that is the whole point of the story of creation given in the Holy Quran. That God gave us, when God says that I taught Adam the names, he didn't say, sit here and learn up that this is mango and this is apple and this is pears and whatever. It refers to humanity's ability, capacity to learn and to invent new things. But we've given that up. So we've forsaken the Holy Quran. We are acting in violation of the Holy Quran. But as I said, remember the example of the prophets, which is given in the Holy Quran. Every prophet is mentioned by name, and then the example is given of how he acted in accordance with Allah's command. If you look at the first one, we made them leaders who guided people by our command, and we revealed to them what is a leader's duty? Do good and keep up praise and give charity. Make sure that no one under their command suffers privation or poverty or hunger. And us alone they serve. When a difficulty arose, they didn't run to make a treaty with one superpower or the other superpower. They depended only on God. And that is why whatever they did was for the benefit of humanity, not for profit and not for any other reason. Tomorrow I'll give you my views on other categories. Next Friday, and I guess the Friday after, I'll give you my views on what the Holy Quran says about qualities of leadership in other areas such as politics and social and justice and so on. Barakallahu lana wa lakum fil Quranil Azim wa nafa'ana wa iyyakum bil ayati wa zikril hakim. Innahu ta'ala jawadun karimun malikun barrufur rahim. Alhamdulillah wa nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم واجعلنا منهم واخذل من خذل دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا تجعلنا منهم عباد الله رحمكم الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون اذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر الله يعلم ما تصنعون. الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده ربنا الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانهر إن شانئك هو الأبتر الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده
ربنا
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله أستغفر الله أستغفر الله أستغفر الله من كل ذنب وأتوب Thank you for joining us for our Friday service. Please pray for the whole of humanity that Allah may keep everyone safe. Especially pray for Palestinians that Allah may keep them safe and free from harm. And pray for the Israelis that God may give them the sense and understanding to realize that what they're doing is wrong and amounts to genocide. Until we meet again next Friday, I take my leave of you. Assalamu alaikum, Khuda Hafiz, and goodbye.